Hello, today we're going to look at the three branches of government and how they share power to make sure that one group or person does not have too much power when it comes to difficult tasks or making laws. Terms for this lesson that you will need to know will be legislative branch, executive branch, judicial branch, and also checks and balances. First, we're going to look at all the branches and what they are and what they do. So first, the legislative branch has Congress, Senate, and the House of Representatives, and they make laws. Executive branch carries out those laws, and that is the President, Vice President, and Cabinet. The judicial interprets laws, and that's the Supreme Court and other federal courts. The power of the executive branch is within the President of the United States, who in all cases acts as the head of state and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. As we have covered in the past, Trump is our president, and this to his right is Mike Pence, his vice president. And once a president is elected, they serve a 4-year term. The president has many responsibilities. Under Article 2 of the Constitution, the President is responsible for execution and enforcement of laws created by Congress. Along with this, the President has the power either to sign legislation into laws or to veto bills enacted by Congress. However, Congress may override a veto with 2/3 of a vote of both houses. Since we are covering each of these branches, we have to cover the Constitution, as there are articles in the Constitutions that give each of these branches certain guidelines. The idea of the Constitution is that it has created the national government of the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch. Within this, we have the checks and balances, and it also divides power between the federal government and the states. The idea is to separate the power for the needs of the people. There are 15 executive departments, each led by an appointed member of the President's cabinet, and they carry out day-to-day administration of the federal government. President Trump has a cabinet that includes Vice President Pence and the heads of 15 executive departments. All of these departments ensure that duties are carried out appropriately and that laws are carried out as well. The executive branch is the only branch that can conduct diplomacy with other nations. Within this, the president has the power to negotiate and sign treaties. However, this decision must be ratified with 2/3 of the Senate. The president can issue executive orders which can direct executive officers or clarify further existings of the law. Also, some neat information to know, to be qualified for presidency, the president must be 35 years of age, a natural-born citizen, and must have lived in the United States for at least 14 years. Congress is made up of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and this was established by the Article 1 of the Constitution. In this, it grants Congress the sole authority to enact legislation and declare war. They have the right to confirm or reject many presidential appointments and also have substantial investigative powers. The first step in the legislative process is for a bill to be introduced to Congress. Anyone can write this bill, however, only members of Congress can introduce legislation. There is much debate and consideration, and the bill must pass through both houses of Congress before it goes to the President for his consideration. Those in position in the judicial branch are always appointed by the President and confirmed by the Senate. This is where most court cases come into play, because these are where the laws are interpreted and fulfilled. There are 3 main levels, which is District Court, Circuit Courts, and Supreme Court. Now, wrapping everything up with our last term that we have covered, all of these branches act as checks and balances, and this is because everyone has to work with everyone to make sure that the laws that are put in our place are for the people and that they are agreeable. The definition that you will need to remember is that checks and balances are the counterbalancing influences by which an organization or system is regulated, typically those ensuring that political power is not concentrated by the hands of individuals or a group. Thank you for being active listeners. I know we covered a lot of ground in this short video, so please feel free to ask questions.